to a Map Business Online video. Just talking today a little bit about map visualizations. It's a pretty basic way of saying creating a business map for visual purposes. You want people to look at this map and pay attention to it. And so you want to make some adjustments to the map. I picked a map I just happened to have on my machine from yesterday, working with a customer. I had imported some data. So let's imagine, if you will, that I wanted to make this into a reasonable business map. So what I did was I immediately went into the data that I had imported. I had imported, of course, using my plot data button, navigating out to my Excel spreadsheet and importing it in. Once it's in Map Business Online, I went into the color code with symbols button and I blasted past my summarize by map layer and went right to where my data is sort of presented to me in a way that I can adjust for visualization purposes. And I picked my type column in my data. I have different types of the data, whether it's an active account, house account, inactive, or prospect. And I used these symbol buttons to choose the round symbol, which I tend to default to, but there's a whole library of symbols in there. You can see it all over the place. There's symbols, and all the way up at the top, you can manage your own custom symbols. You can play with that if you get a chance. But let's imagine that I wanted to highlight my prospects because I want my call center to make calls this week on those prospects. So I took my symbol, my round symbol, and I made it bright red so that it showed those as a focal point. And then I made those 40% size. I could make them 50%, 45, 50. You can see that they change as you go up and down. So I made them, let's say 45%, and then the others I left at 25. When I'm done, I can go down below here and just click done. Now I've got my symbols set on the map. I do have my state layer turned on, and then in the background here, I have my street layer on. So let's say on my state layer, I want to go and make my visualization a little bit more obvious to my users. So I'm going to take my boundaries and just make them black. My state boundaries are now black. And I think most people understand what state it is without showing a label. And I think that label tends to clutter the map. So I got rid of the label. Now you could actually leave the label on and maybe change it to small if you wanted to. You could change the color. Like I could make my labels red as well. But in general, I think people know, like they're looking at the map, the state tells them, oh yeah, I'm up here in the Vermont area. It's rural. There's only one account. And so, it gives them a little bit of visual orientation. That's what the state layer does. Now, I could also go to my zip code layer, which I've also got turned on, and you can see that here. And maybe my business is really related to income or it's related to population. But I could go in and format the zip code layer under general. You could see the color code map here, and this gives you the same exact options as you would get by using this color code map button on the toolbar. So there's different places that you can get the same functionality. So if I go color code map and I choose to color code my zip code layer, let's go to general. Let's see. I'm going to go down to the bottom to zip code. And what I want to do is just color code the zip code layer by demography. So I'm just going to go in on the top, which is where I usually go in by zip code. And I am going to grab demographic data. And I was thinking income would be the best way to go. Let's see what we can find here quickly. Median household income. I want it to show on the map so that people have a sense of the income level in the zip code area that they happen to be in. So I don't need to make it really complicated. Let's just have 4 options. And I don't want any zip code with median income less than, let's say, median is going to be 25,000, and we'll go up to 50. And then we'll go 51 to 75, and then we'll go 75001. I think I gotta put another 0 in there. Is that true? No. 50,000. There we go. And you can see there's things to think about. I'll go 90 here, and then we'll go 91. I got that right. And the application is telling you that 225001 is pretty much the highest. Now, you can allow this color scheme to hold sway, and you can preview it in the background of this view. And you can see what that would look like. Does it make sense for your area of interest? If not, you can always change it, do something random, or go in and change those colors yourself. So maybe you want to gray out the lower end, and then maybe make brown, and then maybe make like a more of an interest level as you go forward until you get like a bright blue. Not that way. I've got colors in the background that mean something, but they don't override the colors on the dots on the map. See what I mean? So the red that you're really having people focus on isn't overridden by a red in the map background. And now we've got a couple more things to think about, like the map background. I'm going to just say, well, I don't really need all the street nonsense. I think that it's better just to have nothing in the background, although there are other options. There's satellite imagery, and there's other things. But you can see most of my background map right now is colored in, although I can make it transparent. I'm gonna uncheck it because I think that background map tells a story that I need it to tell. And then I go to my legend and I move my legend around to where I think it might make most sense. If I'm looking at New England, I've got this Great Lakes area up here in Canada that I'm not using. Good place for my legend. Now I can go in and adjust my legend so that it either shows layers or doesn't show layers. You can see I've got my accounts here. I could say, let's stop this Loretta nonsense and call them sales account by type. And that does a couple of things. It actually clues the reader in to what this is about. It's about sales accounts. It's not about Loretta. And I've got type on one line so that it eliminates a line up here. I can update my legend. It's a little bit more succinct. And I can then go to another layer like zip codes, and I can just turn it off. It's not really required to have that there, or even the state layer. I think maybe I'll turn the zip code layer back on and turn off the state layer. So the state layer is not really required, but if I go in, so I could just leave this with the buttons on there on the sales account by type, focusing on that prospect. That really drives the purpose of the map home. So do I want to tell the people what the zip codes mean in the background? It might be a good idea to do that. So I could say, I could go into, say, the zip code layer and adjust that to show my, I'm just sorry about that. I'm just going to go in here and adjust it to bring my median income into the label up here on zip codes, or I could leave it down below and then update the map legend. So I'm going to show the data now. And I guess that's why I wasn't letting me do that. So I could go zip codes by median income and then update that legend. So now I've adjusted my legend. So I've worked with the symbolization of the map, with the background layer of the map, and with the legend of the map. I can tweak, the way things kind of look. I can even adjust that background color. So I could go in and say, well, that blue in the background, geez, I'd like to have that, maybe a light pink, or I can try different things, maybe a gray, something that doesn't conflict with my map view and adds value to the map. Like, I don't think a bright yellow adds value to the map, but it gives you the opportunity to change that and decide what is that best map background for my map view, so that when people look at this map, they're going to understand my map visualization. So that's how one can come up with a sort of a new way of visualizing your business. So you can go to a map title, and we'll just call this visualization. And then you can expand that title just a little bit. And now you've got a map for sharing, which you can do by printing it. You can do by making it into a JPEG or a PNG file and sharing it via email or a PowerPoint presentation, or you could even actually share an interactive web map for view-only purposes with your constituents. Go to mapbusinessonline.com and take our free trial. Thank you.